But the next big issue actually is the most important issue, is PFAS. Our water is contaminated. And especially, it's contaminated because training done back in Isley Field down near the airport. And the firefighting foam was used, and it seeped into the soil, into the rock, and into the aquifer. And it contaminated our groundwater. And our southern aquifer is the most productive aquifer in our island. In 2015, the EPA did a maximum contaminant level test, and they found that it was so dangerous. The levels were so high, and it was very contaminated. This area is from, I guess you could say, it's down in Obzan, Kobler, and it goes all the way to Suzuki. Right now, it's being treated with granular activated carbon, or GAC filtration system. Now, in the discussions within CUC and with the Bureau of Environmental Coastal Quality, the conversation is that the water, the groundwater, is so contaminated that there's no hope for Saipan, and that the only hope is desalination. Can you believe that? That is what they're saying, is desalination is the future. Desalination is very costly, but we don't even know how much PFAS is in the ocean, because PFAS is all over the world, and not only that, our wastewater is full of PFAS, which is discharged into the ocean.
Our water table is extremely contaminated, and you wonder why a lot of people are sick. Okay, there's this thing they call an EPA, right? It's called ppm, parts per million, and it's very simple, really. If you take this glass, right, and you put water, like rainwater, into it, you cannot drink pure water. Pure water is not good for you. So you have to put some sort of minerals in it, like salt, because our body needs salt, right? But at the same time, we all know that if you drink too much salt, it's not good for the body. It has to be just the right amount. So when you drink this rainwater, right, and you filter it and everything like that, you have to put a little bit of salt so that your body can absorb it, so it'll be good for you. Our water, our groundwater, is completely contaminated, period. Other than the water, the aquifer in Maui 1 and Maui 2, even the CUC can verify or can vouch for this, that that water up north, is good water. It's good, straight out of the tap, drinking water. The problem is when CUC puts it out to the public, they put so much chlorine into it that it just defeats the whole purpose. Okay, now, when CUC does their water report with EPA claiming that you can drink that water, you better think twice about drinking that water. Because if it can corrode, plastic, because we use PVC pipe, and you see those calcium buildup, that means that the water is highly concentrated in chlorine. Guess what they do when back in World War II to kill, in the Nazi camp Jews? Chlorine gas. So, do we need chlorine? Yes, you do need chlorine, but not at the concentration that they're giving out to the public. Okay, it is overly contaminated. Now, when Ms. Munya was mentioning GAC, the granulated carbon or charcoal filter, that is the best filter in the world. You cannot get any better than that. You really can't. The problem is, there are 9 GAC containers that are sitting in Isley Field right now to filter this water. But out of that 9 containers, 1 container of that GAC costs $300,000. And it has to water that you pass through it because you gotta change the filter. So imagine us paying for one $300,000 each, right? And it only lasts 3 to 4 months, and you have to replace all 9 of them. Do you think for one moment that we in the cinema have that kind of money to replace that system every 3 to 4 months? No way, there isn't. You cannot. Can you drink that water? No, you cannot. And you should not. But then again, we're paying for water that we can't drink, and we're spending for water that we have to drink, from Saipan ice or Sablon ice or whatever. Saipan ice, Sablon ice, Star water. So you actually spend double on your water consumption because you have to pay CUC, and then now you have to pay the water that you can consume.
The water is just like you go out to the ocean and you drink it. And if the water up north is really what CUC is saying, then I think that they're wrong. Because here's my wife, my house, every 4 months I have to replace all my water system, my process goes. The do-not of caution is about this thing. And I don't care what kind of chemical that I buy from Ace Hardware to try and get rid of them. It's useless. It just costs me a lot of money and it doesn't work. And so, please, ladies and gentlemen, we have to be serious about this because it is the health of our kids, our health that we are talking about here. It's not just mainly CUC per se, but us every day. We have to wash rice, we have to wash meat, we have to wash everything in order for us to cook, to serve on our table. What we are serving on our table are all contaminated food that it is not our fault.
We have the highest PFAS contamination in the United States, and I learned this while I was at CUC. I'm an advocate for our people to clean and purify our water so that we will not die of cancer anymore.
My husband Richard is a cancer survivor in the past 20 years. 4 kinds of cancer. There's many specialists had to beg him to do a DNA study because they are confused. In 15 years, all this cancer keeps coming back. And they asked him for the first time, his primary care asked him, Richard, where did you grow up? Please, can we do this oncologist? And he has a lot of, oncologists, medical oncologists, radiation oncologists, regular oncologists, urology, you name it. So that guy went through DNA, and guess what came out? Because they said it's important because if it's in your genes, then he has to tell his siblings and his children. But it came back and it says, no, it's not. It's environment.
About the water being contaminated. Ave Maria Purissima, ona pro nobis in office enough.
To stand up and point out when things are wrong, bad, could be improved. I'm not going to abandon this project. People standing up like what Candace did certainly know that it takes guts and courage to stand up knowing that you're going to take retaliation for it. When you see something, speak up.
Hello, happy day.
Our own people here who are actual qualified professionals who should have a say in our future, they're blocking them from being hired into CUC. And that's a big problem because that's preventing our people it's preventing any change from happening that needs to happen now.